working. Let's assume that, I just want to see if everybody's awake. Let's assume that we have the Earth at the center of the universe, and that the universe has a boundary, okay? If we make this assumption, we can use what you call white holes cosmology, and I'll recommend a book for you, which basically using Einstein's theories of relativity, laws of relativity. The book is called Starlight in Time by a physicist named Dr. Russell Humphreys. It's just one possibility, and he shows how using a white hole cosmology, again, I'm not trying to be technical, but he says how using that cosmology you can talk about different times and it can support a young Earth. Okay? And another perspective is the fact that even in Big Bang cosmology, which I'm totally, I think is even crazier than evolution, they believed initially that so-called egg, or whatever it is, the hypothetical egg, we get the hypothetical chicken, when it exploded, it was going at much more greater speeds than the speed of light. Okay? And so, at the time, so that means that, who knows, that basically the argument is light was faster in the past. These are a couple options for that case. But I would recommend you do your own homework. Go home, look up horizon problem in cosmological problems and try to figure out that one. And that's an issue the evolutions of the Big Bang cannot resolve. It's called the horizon problem. Are you familiar with it? Well, look it up. Okay, it's just something to look. John?
You've got an assumption. We know that the stars are out there. First of all, you're assuming the star formed out there. Let's take an idea, you got the Big Bang here, and everything goes out. All right? As the gases moved out, how do we know they weren't already formed and they left the light behind? The other question you've got is we theorize black holes that are gravity wells that can bend light. Well, if the planet Earth is here, there's a black hole here, and the star is over here, maybe that far from the Earth, but the light is going this way. We also have the possibility that when God created the stars, He created the light already here. I mean, after all, if you can make the universe, why not make the light here? And also, you have another question. Why not use the vast expanse as a demonstration of power? I'm going to take all of this energy and I'm going to put it over here because I can, and over there because I can, and over here because I can, and I'm going to let people see just how much power I've got. We have that possibility too. So once you use the word assume, we wind up with multiple and unlimited theories, and they're all going to be based on what is our a priori conception of the universe. Mine is creation. I believe it's very simple for God to put those massive lights out there with that much power to demonstrate His power, and created the light already here so we could see them. I don't have a problem with that.
And also, one last thing, cosmology cannot explain the origin of the stars, it can't explain the origin of the galaxy. As a matter of fact, there are 3 theories in the origin of the moon, and all 3 of them have mathematical problems, and that's the closest neighbor we have.
I'd like to say that the Webb Space Telescope is actually observing those phenomena.
Gotta speak louder.
I said that the Webb Space Telescope will be launched in 2013, and that they will be able to observe those galaxies forming, stars forming.
If they're still forming. So you got to remember, astronomers tell us that a star goes supernova every 25 years. There's only 300 supernovas out there.
Why?
That means you've got a universe that's only 7,500 years old, unless we can discover new ones. But right now, based on what's there, you only got 7,500 years.
Okay. On that last point, you may want to ask your mathematician friend to clarify some things for you.
Okay.
But I want to talk about the power display that you mentioned. It would seem that God would have just enough power then to make it appear like the universe formed naturally from the Big Bang. There was another point that...
Well, I mean, if the point is that, you know, if you propose a God that's infinitely powerful and that God can create the universe to be billions of light years large with light already in transit, I know of no method of science that could rebut that statement. I mean,
That's why I said it's a
yeah,
philosophical
I mean,
argument.
you know, and so, you know, if your position is God created the universe to appear as though it's billions of years old, and to appear as though we're all related through a tree of common ancestry, and to appear as though there was a Big Bang type of event, you know, 14 billion years in the past, but it's not really that way. It just looks like that.
Based on your a priori assumptions.
Yeah, I have no. If that's the conclusion you come to, okay, you know, let's shake hands and be friendly to each other and treat each other like, you know, respectful human beings and move on with life, because we're not ever going to agree, you know. But I think the point here is just to say that, you know, in that context, the evidence, it does look like the universe is that old. It does look like we have common ancestry.
Based upon your view, but you know, in the last debate and in this one both, I keep seeing assumptions based on observations. I have yet to see an experiment that will establish your assumptions.
Let's do this. Let's move on to the next question.
Okay. Well, first of all, I just want to say in defense of Richard that we have a Chihuahua mix and a Great Dane, and we love them both. We do love dogs, you know. Anyways, I have kind of a two-part question. One is Richard kind of was bringing up over here. I've been talking to evolutionists for years, and I keep asking the same question, and that is, what scientific law shows evolution? And that's to obviously the Pruitt and John. What scientific law can you give us to show evolution is true?
That is not the purpose of scientific laws. Scientific laws do not support theories. Theories explain facts. Facts result from laws. But that's not the way it works. You can ask that question all you want. There's no answer to it. Exactly.
Well, I've got a second term. Go ahead.
Well, can we answer that real quickly? So, why don't you ask the next question and we'll answer both?
Okay.
Oh, well, my next question that I wanted to ask all of you teachers, soon-to-be parents, and this is from Jesus, the Lord of the universe, who created this wonderful universe, who says, "And whoever receives one such child in my name receives me, but whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to stumble, it is better for him that a heavy millstone be hung around his neck and that he be drowned in the depth of the sea." And my question to both of you is, does that concern you at all?
In the context of evolution, no. And I say that because, you know, I regret that we haven't had the opportunity more in this debate to talk about, you know, is evolution versus creationism, is that really God versus atheism? You know, and if you look at the numbers, clearly the answer is no. And I say that because there's only 10 to 15% of the people in this country that identify themselves as non-religious. And yet there's about 40 to 45% of the people in this country who in scientific polling would agree with the statement, humans evolved from a common ancestor with all of the other life that's on this planet. So you've got about 30% of the people in this country that, even if you assume 100% of the non-religious people would agree with that statement, you've got about 30% of people who would identify themselves as religious who agree with the statement, you know, who agree with the statement that evolution by natural selection happened. And in that context, you know, it makes it clear that there's not a real-life dichotomy between belief in God and evolution. And I would refer you to the same sources I referred at the last debate, which was, you know, read some Francis Collins, or read some Ken Miller, or read some of any of the dozens of religious, Christian, even evangelical Christians who have been working in the scientific field, working in biology, and written books explaining how their understanding evolution more has, in their opinion, revealed God's glory to them even more. So the question that you asked is important and interesting and meaningful. I don't see how it's attached to evolution